Well, Australia's September GDP figures will be released later this morning, in about an hour and a half from now. And the lockdowns, construction bans and supply chain shortages are expected to crunch economic growth for that quarter. Joining me live now is our business reporter, Edward Boyd. Ed, before we get to that, the market has just opened. How did it open?
Laura, the market's down slightly at the open. It's all due to markets in the US having a little bit of a freak out overnight over the chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank there talking about inflationary pressures and the potential for interest rates to be rising sooner than expected. So the market's down a little bit in early trade. But GDP, we've got the September quarter figures coming up shortly and half the country was in lockdown. There's a huge decline in household consumption and household expenditure. That is the main thing that's meant to push economic growth down. And if we look at some of the predictions here from the Economists, you can see in the quarter it's about down 2.5% is the consensus, but NAB there's gone with 3.3%. So that is a very large fall. Going ahead to the 12 months to the end of September, you can see economic growth is going to be positive. The consensus is economic growth will lift roughly 3% over year on year. Commonwealth Bank there at 2.7, ANZ at 2.9. But I just want to show you the worst quarters on record. So record keeping by the ABS began 62 years ago in 1959. June last year, obviously the nationwide lockdown, down 7%. And then it was a series of recessions in the 70s and 80s triggered by a stock market crash and an oil price crash as well, which caused those big falls in national accounts. So today, if it does come in at minus 2.5%, it would be the second worst quarter on record.
Right, OK, 1959. We'll keep that one in mind. Ed, we're now in the middle of December, in the December quarter in terms of reporting on GDP. So surely we can see already that the economy is starting to bounce back. Everyone's getting out there and spending those hard-earned dollars that they haven't been able to during the lockdown.
Exactly. Look, it's a very positive time at the moment for the economy. Retail is really back and booming. We've had the Black Friday sales, more than $5 billion spent there. Cafes and restaurants are back open. People are back out on the streets spending money. There's no more bans on construction. Manufacturing is back at a high level. We've still got supply chain shortages, though, across it's a global problem. But expect this December quarter to be roughly up 4%. That's the expectation at the moment from economists. And they also believe the March quarter next year is going to be particularly strong as well before growth starts to normalise again next year. But the December quarter, if it does bounce back by 4%, that will bring the economy back to the pre-Delta lockdown stages. So it's positive. We're in a positive time at the moment for the economy, Laura.
Yep, stay tuned. Ed, thanks so much. We'll see you soon. Today we will have all the analysis on those GDP figures. They'll be released at 11:30. This is really the data, the raw data that shows the impact of the Delta lockdown. That's 11:30 Eastern Daylight Time.